My name is Jordan Lewin. For my senior project, I wanted to make a film since I am an aspiring filmmaker. I decided to make a documentary film which ended up focusing on Napa's past floods and the Napa River Flood Project. Here's the introduction for my documentary film. This is Napa, the main city of Napa Valley, one of the wine capitals of the world. There are hundreds of wineries in Napa Valley, which is approximately 30 miles in length and 5 miles in width. Flowing down the center of the valley is the Napa River, which eventually empties into the San Pablo Bay. Many tourists visit the city of Napa every year, primarily during the spring, summer, and fall. They come to enjoy the town's wineries and wonderful restaurants. There are also many activities that people enjoy here in Napa, such as hiking, bicycling, kayaking, and riding hot air balloons. However, during the wintertime, Napa gets a lot of rain and is prone to flooding during that time. Napa has had a long history of flooding. Since 1862, Napa has experienced 21 serious floods, each of which have caused destruction to both the city of Napa and to people's lives. After many years of planning, the city of Napa has developed a project to prevent floods. Today, the risk of damage by a flood has gone down. I and a few Napa residents and experts on the subject will be talking about Napa's floods and the Napa River Flood Project. This project was challenging for me for two main reasons. One, I had never made a documentary film on my own before, and two, it required me to do research and find people to interview. My past films only required an imagination, while this one was based on real facts and real experiences. My first step towards making this film was researching about Napa's floods and the construction that was done around Napa to help prevent floods. Once I had about 2 pages of typed notes for my research, I thought about what information I did not have. Then, I created a list of questions and interviewed 5 people that are knowledgeable about and recollect Napa's floods, as well as the flood project. I interviewed an editor at the Napa Valley Register, 2 people that work for Napa County Historical Society, and 2 longtime Napa residents. The result of my senior project was an edited 25 documentary film that included segments of the 5 interviews, drone footage provided by Drew, camcorder footage of Napa that I filmed, Google Maps footage that I captured on my computer screen, and narration and guitar playing that I recorded.
1986 was the most damaging flood of modern times, and I believe Napa's had a dozen or more floods, could be 15, 16, since settlement in the mid-1800s.
Kevin Courtney is the city editor of the Napa Valley Register, which has been Napa's hometown newspaper since 1863.
The 86 flood came. It was a real shocker. Napa was a sea of water all along Auto Row, up Soskel, way into downtown. The river flooded from Main Street all the way up to Coombs Street, past Brown Street, to around the courthouse.
So the 86 flood, I was in high school. I lived in American Canyon, so it didn't affect my home. I wasn't really working then, but I remember the gymnasium was used for a shelter for all the people that were put out. That was kind of odd to have people staying in your gym while you're going to high school, but that was a big deal.
As a Napa resident and hairdresser for Shine Salon, Shaina Cook lived through a few of the floods in Napa and helped people deal with them.
Well, the biggest flood, as you probably have heard and seen pictures, was the 1986 flood. So I was in elementary school, 9 years old, I believe, 11 during that. And that was, you really got a sense of how powerful nature can be and how insignificant and really helpless the human community can be when that was a 100-year flood event.
The one that occurred in 2005, of course, is the one in most recent recollection, and therefore the one about which I personally know the most. And that flood caused a great deal of damage because of the overflow of the riverbanks in downtown Napa, particularly in the Napa River, Napa Creek area, which has traditionally been the premier flooding zone in downtown Napa.
The Napa Flood Project has attempted to turn the Napa River back into its original healthy path that the river wants to take, instead of forcing it to conform to the way that we had buildings and streets already planned out around Napa. So they've taken back a lot of the land that the river wants to flood on. They've made it a healthier situation so that the river can expand and contract with the rains and not impact any of the local businesses' houses.
I really enjoyed making this film, and I learned how to make a documentary film from the experience.